Okay, so good evening. We are going to be doing an evening practice that focuses on integration. Integration, as far as how the subtle forces are concerned, means it's a samana practice. And that is really beneficial for those of you who are a little more pitta. If you don't know what your dosha is, you can do like a short little quiz. I have one on my website, aspiredelements.com. But it's just a general quiz. If you really want to know where you're at, you can get an assessment. But samana is important because we're at this time of the year right now where people tend to overeat, overindulge, and that very much affects digestion. And I don't mean just physical digestion. So we talked a little bit about it last week because it was the week after Thanksgiving. And so now we're looking at, how can we help ourselves? How can we help digestion? How can we help assimilation? You can use your practice to do that, but you also want to incorporate different ways of approaching how you eat and how you take in information. So one of the things that you can do to help yourself is, believe it or not, make sure that your body is relaxed before you eat. So if you're eating and it's a super intense environment, like there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of distraction, everybody's talking, you're talking, you actually aren't going to digest very well, right? You digest better when the body is in a relaxed state. So stopping, taking a few breaths before you eat so that the body slows down is going to help with absorption. The same thing applies with mental and emotional stuff. If you know you have to have a tough conversation with somebody, you can prepare yourself. You can calm the body down. And then that way you're able to hear what the person is saying. It's just changing how you're doing things. Integration is really important. The other thing that I want you to consider is if you are overindulging a little bit, it's not a big deal. There's no judgment around that at all. So how do you help yourself with that? If you've overeaten or you've had a little too much to drink or whatever, there are actual herbal things that you can take that helps with that. I could probably give you guys, you send an email out on what you take for like a hangover and things like that. But what you can do is you can drink ginger tea. If you have heartburn, things like that, you can't have ginger tea, but you can have what they call the digestive tea, which is equal parts coriander, fennel, and cumin. And you just take the seeds, not the powder, the seeds, and you steep it and you drink it all day long. And what that does is it helps kind of digest. It helps your body break everything down so that you can move all of that heaviness through your system. Okay. You always know you're overeating if after you eat, you get tired and sluggish. Okay. That means you ate too much. So you can eat smaller portions. That helps. Also stopping and chewing your food thoroughly is also helpful. Okay. The other thing that's a big deal, and not a lot of people know about this, is you don't drink a lot when you eat. So if you do drink, you're never having more than like a half a cup of any kind of fluid. And the reason for that is you're diluting your digestive juices if you drink too much. So you don't want to do that. You want your digestive juices to be nice and strong, able to break everything down. Okay. So those are just a few things that you can do to help with digestion. We're in the holidays. There's a lot of stuff going on. And like I said, it's a time where people tend to overindulge. And I would just say, have some awareness around that, have some consciousness around that. As fun as it might seem, I'm just one of those people where I always thought about the consequences of everything. Even when I was young, I was like, I want to run the next day, or I want to ride my bike the next day, or I want to do a hike the next day. So I never went out drinking ever, 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 because I would rather go hiking, running, and biking and doing all of those things. Those things were more important to me. I was always thinking about, how am I going to feel tomorrow? Not good. So I'm not going to do that. All right. So just think about how you're going to feel. Is it worth it for you to feel good majority of the time? For me, it is. It totally is. Okay, so that's the talk. The practice that we're doing tonight is a samana practice. That means integrating. And we're gonna do, probably tonight is our last samana practice. Next week we have a whole nother topic and different kind of practice. I want to do a therapeutic practice for you guys in preparation for the holidays. So we're going to do a class where you need to bring a tennis ball. We're going to be learning how to do self massage. Okay, we've done it before, but we're going to do it again. Okay, so let's get started with our practice.